Here we are.
I'm always grinning when the light goes.
Me too. We just grin.
Red light. It should be a green light.
Yeah, less worrying.
Yeah, it kind of does bring
Green to go. Yeah. I think, isn't it red because traditionally, because if the red light was on, you're not supposed to disturb whatever's being recorded, or maybe
Right.
that's why. So, because it is a stop signal, right? But it's just become the color of recording now, hasn't it?
So we're not allowed to interrupt ourselves.
No, we have to stop.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone, and 2021 has been born.
Yeah, happy is so not the right word.
So alive, though.
Yeah, it's good. It's it's a good idea to strive for that, but it seems like such a hollow sounding word right now to me.
What happy?
Happy,
Happy!
happy end of culture. Yeah, no,
Said
it's
I
good
should work
though.
on the field. No
21.
trouble.
This is the year. Wow.
Yes, it.
Everyone thinks last year was the year. That was just the starter. Yeah.
Well, that was the collapse, wasn't it?
I don't think it was. I think we're about to get into that now.
Yeah,
That was
we're in the
just the
chaos now.
well, it's coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
something's going on.
Mm. Well, now we're both in the same place in Norfolk, ready to root down again for another lockdown.
Yeah, here we go again, apparently. Although I don't think we ever really kind of psychologically came out of it, did we? So it's just a deepening of the meditation.
Yeah, it is
Doesn't
a meditation. That's a very positive way of reacting or responding to this kind of wave after wave of uncertainty. Is just, okay, how can I kind of deepen into myself and actually support myself through this rather than just reacting with emotion and freaking out. It is like a global meditation, an initiation.
Mm, yeah, it's a sort of there's a fever, cultural fever going on.
Mm.
Um, yeah, yeah, initiation.
Mm.
That's what we're hoping for, right?
Well, it's
It's
sort
the
of initiation
crisis of
after
hope.
initiation. It's just deepening into what it is to be human and expanding into a more spiritual dimension as well at the same time. Is that what we were talking about before with the as above, so below? It's like we're rising and we're deepening at the same time. So we're really having to look into our humanness, really dig into that and really be patient and compassionate and open and well, this is what I'm feeling anyway, just really feeling actually more connected to other people because we're all going through a process together, and that's the humanness, that's the kind of community spirit that I keep remembering every time it happens. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just focus on the community or those who are around me immediately and kind of empower that, because there has to be a kind of, I think, focus of positivity, and it is very much asking us to kind of look after ourselves and each other. And I feel like actually the first time round we didn't really learn enough. So this is why it's come around the second time. Like, okay, how can we really take care of one another and really look after ourselves and really be patient and really be kind? Because this next period is, people are really stressed out, aren't they? And there's kind of next level fear coming up, and I feel a responsibility to keep that strength in myself and with those around me, because I've been kind of going through this journey of, I suppose, spiritually growing, so I can kind of see beyond just that fear. And I think that's what I kind of wanted to talk about, was us as individuals stepping into who we are and kind of showing up in the way that we can to support the community and to support what's going on, and also keep the focus on growth and moving forward, because we are always moving forward, even if it feels like we're not. I think that's a really important place to focus, is keep looking forward and also being in the space and being strong, and not letting kind of fear and doubt and everyone else kind of chaos or the madness kind of seep in and take hold.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Yeah, because there are lots of new things wanting to be born right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to get hung up on the old things that are falling apart, and the chaos and the corruption, and real, just general not knowing what's going on. Nobody knows what they're doing right now, especially if they're in authority, it seems. So it's easy to get pulled into that vortex of chaos, but actually, as you're saying, the place to be focusing on right now is those certainties which are within us, that centering what is happening around that's good and healthy and feels right. Looking about for any kind of energy or connections or community activity that looks like it's healthy and something we'd like to see on the other side of this. Maybe even nurturing now the connections with the people who are around, whoever they are, actually appreciating perhaps what we've got and who is around, and how do we best strengthen everybody and support everybody, and perhaps rekindle that ember of community that's become so kind of shrunken and low and cold in a way over the years. But maybe now it's time to bring the fire back to the community in that way, and find community again in its true sense. Starting with where you are physically, connecting in with the land and the people around. And then also there's this other layer of community that we've now got through the technology, which is has a global reach. So it's the combination of those two communities, I guess, and strengthening and feeding and putting some effort into that, into the positive aspects of that, not getting drawn into the sort of fighting and the misinformation and all of the chaos that's also in the sort of digital realm, just like in the physical realm. But there are lots of great things still going on there, and lots of people trying to build something who are looking forwards and at a way beyond this current way of living, which obviously is not going to work any longer and is pretty terminal. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and that's heartening. I guess it's good to to talk about those things, or just focus on that stuff during this time. We've got to be so strong, so disciplined about not indulging fear and the depression and all of those things that just want to consume people right now.
I feel like that's where the focus is really important. It's like getting it's kind of a call to action, actually, in terms of your purpose. And that's what I keep thinking. It's like, we all have these unique gifts. We all have a purpose, and it's almost like this space that we're in, this environment that we're in, is kind of actually helping. If you can view it from that way, if you can focus on purpose, it's actually helping, because it's kind of cleared out a lot of things, obstacles of, oh well, I might do that in 5 years. It's like, no, come on, let's do it now. There's like an opening, and those who are kind of ready to really step into that purpose, time. And I think it's important to really show up and kind of shine and speak and just really, just take all of that energy, take all of that negativity or whatever is going on around, and bring it in and draw it in, and then take it out into this focus, because we can get quite kind of, can't we, there's a lot of kind of negativity around. We can kind of become quite spongy and quite jelly like, and if we're not careful, we're just absorbing everyone else's stuff, and we're not really kind of, our energy is just doing the same thing, and then we're all kind of absorbing and kind of regurgitating, and it's like, okay, let's get focused, let's get clear, and support each other to do that. I feel like that's where I'm going anyway. I want to support people to align with their purpose, so that there's kind of more of us doing all of it together, and that's really powerful. One person fully directing their energy in a way that's supportive and healthy. I mean, that is so powerful. So good.
Yeah, find your inner Gandhi and let him free, because it's amazing what one person who has a clear purpose, who's just giving their energy to it, can do. And everyone has their version of that to bring. Yeah, it's so, this is, well, we've been talking about this, but this has become apparent over this solstice Christmas period to me, is that it's time now to take action and cast aside any of the things that don't fit or work or have any doubts about, and just focus on, well, what can I do right now? What is aligned with who I am that I can bring to this to do some good in the world? That's what I'm strongly feeling now. Like, focus on that, whatever that looks like, and just trust. Just go, start, and then it will show you the way. You don't have to have it all worked out beforehand, because nobody can. You just have to know, okay, I want to do this right thing. You just have to have your compass, really. Know which direction you're heading, and then just go. That's what I'm feeling now. Is, in this sort of dark January, cold, sort of slightly chaotic, even in the weather, we've got kind of hail and snow and rain and wind and the darkness. It's like, in all of that chaos, kind of beginning to sort of stride through it in a very clear direction, sort of emerging from that chaos, this focus and purpose, heading towards the light. That's the image I'm getting, like almost like a sort of a graphic novel or a manga cartoon or something, where like you've got this kind of swirling, dark, chaotic thing, and then this figure who's kind of slowly emerging and sort of striding forwards. Some of that.
Yeah, and it even was becoming really apparent over Christmas, wasn't it, when Community was coming out? So we were together for Christmas, and just everyone was popping out, weren't they? It really did feel like suddenly that kind of web of our community had just kind of gone, and everyone was kind of quite together, and and kind of wanting things to happen. I keep kind of receiving this from my antennae, like, okay, people are actually wanting to get together and support one another in a kind of new way. Like we were talking about being really telepathic and actually kind of almost hearing someone before we see them, or hearing something that you said that I was just about to say, or I was already thinking. And it's been happening a lot with other people as well. So it's like we're kind of tuning into a new energy of community really wants to take root again, really does. Because this, as we've been talking about for a long time, this the sense of isolated family unit just feels bizarre at the times that we're in right now.
Yeah, and now it's even more isolated to individuals, because even families are being separated by this lockdown and the regulations around it and the fear around it. So people are self-isolating. So it's broken down to the individual units now. So it's as if this is the end point of that process, where the old community and way has now dissolved into the individual cells of each person. So from that place, they can recombine in any way. You know, it's like that's the beginning. So, you know, you're just a cell looking for someone to get connected with, or you're like an atom wanting to form a molecule or a complex chain of molecules with some other people, you know. So it's this incredibly potent state of potential of like readiness, I guess, or kind of possibility, maybe is a better word.
Yeah.
You know, and so seeing, well, what really feels right, like deep within me, what is the right thing right now? Because I don't know about you, but I'm finding that when I consider anything now that isn't somehow aligned with me, I just get this like almost sickness, like there's no way, I've got no will to do it. The feeling of doing it just feels wrong and bad physically. So it's like I can't do now anything that isn't the right thing. Whereas maybe before, you know, I might have done something because I needed the money or this or that, you know, and it might have slightly influenced things. Here's somebody else who's just
I love you.
escaped from bed.
Oh, she honestly looks so alike. It's just...
Okay, sleep.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. There you go. That was a molecular combination.
When your faces are together, it's just incredible. You see it?
Yeah, well, look, I saw it really closely. Like here. Yeah.
Oh, Boba. Oh, she's growing like every day. She's like completely different.
Yeah, that's children, layer upon layer. It's amazing to watch, actually, from birth. This kind of like an onion, the layers, the layers, the layers. And it happens sometimes, like a few days will go and it doesn't really seem different, and then suddenly they seem different. And you can get these different time periods, but it, you know, if they go away for a couple of days and then come back, they're like, wow, they're different. They've become somebody else.
Well, that's why
We're all doing that. We're all doing that. Maybe it slows down as we get older, but I think it's still, it's going on, isn't it, all the time?
Yeah.
Good to remember that as well when we meet people and we hold a whole story about who we think they are from the last time we met them, but they may be completely different. And it's kind of helpful to leave a door open for that every time you meet someone. Leave the option for them to be someone else, you know.
Yeah, we're literally growing every day. I mean, we should be checking in with each other saying, okay, what's going on today then?
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you today? I mean, you asked me that question. But really, we should ask each other every day. What's new?
Everybody,
especially at this time.
everyone should be asking that, I think.
Yeah.
It's
Don't get comfortable with who we think people are and how we think they fit into our bubble, because people are expanding, and yeah, that's a new way of relating completely, isn't it? If you can give space for other people, this comes back to the letting people be themselves and being authentic, and just really, that's my vision for the future, is where we're all just letting each other be ourselves, giving each other the space we need, and appreciating each other for our gifts and our differences, and yeah, being able to really thrive in that place of openness.
Yeah, it's a good habit to try and develop, I guess, isn't it? Because rather than put someone on the spot and say, "Who are you?" just to hold that thought in mind when you're meeting someone, so you're kind of open. It's like an inquiry.
Mm.
So rather than then you just automatically see all the old stories of the person, and maybe don't even see them, maybe don't even notice that there's something different, because you've got such a strong idea of what you're about to meet.
Mm.
Maybe just having that open door to see who is that person today.
Mm.
And then maybe something new can arise in the relationship that you want to come in.
Mm.
Maybe even in ourselves, that's a good, if you think about doing that with yourself, where instead of thinking, oh, I am this, repeating, the moment you wake up, you suddenly put on all these layers of stories of who you are from the day before and the week before and the year before. So before you get dressed with your mental stories of who you are in the morning, maybe just have a moment of being naked and seeing what that might be like.
Well, it's who you want to be as well. You can wake up every morning and choose who you want to be.
Yeah, like a new suit. What am I going to put on today?
That's what I do every day. That's my secret.
Well, that is a method, though, isn't it? If you wear something very different every day, or you create a different look every day, you are effectively doing that. You're doing it in a visual, physical way, and that can then inform who the person is that's wearing the clothes, and even how you move and how you feel in the world when you're wearing them. So costume has always been a powerful tool for transformation. For, like, if you think about acting and like early acting and plays, and that kind of power of dressing up, even as kids, when kids dress up as well, how you can totally become, kids, you really see it with young kids. They'll put on that dinosaur suit and they are dinosaurs. They're not pretending to be dinosaurs. They actually are dinosaurs.
No, I actually am.
Yeah.
And they always say that as well. You're like, oh, you're this, like, haha. And they're like, no, I am. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Forget you are. Okay.
Yeah, that whole sort of shape shifting. That reminds me, all we ever do is talk about Bob Dylan, but for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But he's someone who tried on a lot of different personalities, and he even said that, or he was kind of fascinated when he first went to those kind of big carnivals that they used to have, where he said, I remember that in that interview, in that No Direction Home documentary, he said that when he first went to see one of these carnivals, one of the things that totally blew him away was that the guy who was like selling the popcorn would then be the guy who's like throwing the knives, sort of, or then be the sort of clown, or so it's like this kind of, wow, you can be different people, you can have different roles. And that, you could see that, like, was a massive thing for him to realize. And I think that's profoundly informed his journey, through his kind of incarnations. And then I guess you could say, like, David Bowie, same thing, look
I
at
was just thinking him.
just, well, there you go. I mean, obviously,
Telepathy.
well, perhaps, but also quite related to what we're talking about.
Telepathy.
Okay.
But yeah, I think he even spoke about that in Rolling Thunder Review, because that was the whole point of that tour, wasn't it? Because they were dressing up as circus, carnival people, and just how amazing that was to kind of get lost in those characters. And I mean, I definitely find that that's part of why I love clothes so much, is that I can express a different aspect of myself every day. And that keeps it fun. I want to play. I want to like be inspired by life, and um
Well,
yeah,
it has an
just
effect.
find these places.
It has an effect, doesn't it, when you meet people as well, and you bring that kind of color.
Mm,
And yeah, if you're living somewhere pretty small where you're seeing the same people day in, day out, and you're meeting someone who's always wearing something different or bright or cheerful or interesting, it's kind of it's such a richness in your life.
mm,
It's like theater. You're getting, and this is something I know we're both interested in, is bringing this sort of art into daily life, and
mm,
the creation of beauty and surrounding yourself with beauty, and those interactions with people. Conversations can be beautiful, all of it. It's so enriching, and somehow to me gives meaning to life. And I think the looking for and receiving meaning
mm,
from life is probably one of the key things that we need to feel
mm,
okay and for wellness.
mm,
And there's a lot of absence of meaning right now, and a lot of confusion in meaning, and so many different stories conflicting. So, creating good stories through what you do in the world is a really powerful thing right now.
mm,
And there'll be people that shine, that everyone can kind of go towards to feel some of that and anchor with, get some sort of stability in a way. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to remember, is this is kind of how culture is born as well.
mm,
I think from place and individuals, and interaction of individuals and places and events, things going on,
mm,
occurrences. This is how
mm,
culture is born. This is how stories get born. We need to be
mm,
making fertile that place right now, and starting to grow stuff in it. And yeah, I
mm,
think all the creative people now who are sort of in cultural and social terms under a lot of pressure, because those areas of life are being killed off financially before anywhere else. Obviously, you've got the very well-known, successful individuals who can weather it, but most creators are
mm,
not wealthy people,
mm,
and they're often doing it out of love rather than anything else. And that really, those people are really important right now, because the creators and the visionaries and the artists, they have the seeds for the new culture. They're carrying them. They are the seeds, in
mm,
fact, and they need looking after. I said that somewhere, posted something, or saying, if you know an artist or a creator or musician or anyone like that, and you've got some cash right now, help them out, because they probably haven't. And
Did you then put your link
what's that?
underneath?
What for
But then
me?
did you put your link underneath?
No,
Remember,
I
you're talking
didn't.
about
Perhaps I
yourself as
should have.
well in that bracket.
Yeah, but really, if you're having a great time in lockdown, and you're on some kind of you're being paid by the company you work for, and you can work at home, and maybe it's a bit easier or whatever, and everything's rosy. Maybe, yeah, other people say, yeah, but there's much more important things. There's people who haven't got anywhere to live, and sure, all of that's true. But without meaning, without culture, without a direction, then we really are lost. And that's probably the most important thing right now, is that we need to quickly get this new culture growing before the old one completely dies. Because if there's nothing formed when that happens, then we're going to have to start all over again, and that'll be hard.
Just set that up, actually. Just you talking about that, you should set up the artist foundation.
Get another thing to do, right? Or maybe somebody else hears it and could do it. I think I've got my projects planned now. I don't need another one.
But yeah, but that may be more important than the other one, because that's you as well. It's like, yeah, supporting that creativity, which is really taking a hit. And if you're not already online, luckily, I've been working online for a while, so I kind of understand how you can then create art online. But a lot of people who've been in theatre or doing things very physically don't really know what they're doing. Maybe I'm getting an idea now. Maybe I need to help the artists. I'm like, here's an online course where you can just kind of get to know a little bit of how to work.
They don't need a coach, they just need money. They need to be able to pay the rent and eat and things like that,
Well, they need to be able to know what other options are, I think.
No, that's precisely not what I'm saying, because that's like you need to retrain. No, you're already doing what you're supposed to be doing. We just need to be supporting them in it. Yeah, the ballet dancer doesn't need to become an IT operative.
No, I mean
dancing.
I mean to know how to take that art and then digitalize it.
Well, no, because not everything should be digital either. Some things are, yeah, great, but we don't live yet in the digital.
I'm like,
closer.
Yeah, we become computer.
But no, exactly not. We need to have those physical things as well, because it's a barren world. Because the digital at the moment comes nowhere near to equaling in any way the richness of the actual world.
No, of course not. But
so that's what's being taken
hard.
away. That's what's being impacted. So it's there that we need to put the support, I think.
I just think it's all changing, though. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I just feel like being open and getting clever. That's what I mean about, knowing your options, and it's not forever, but it's just adapting.
Yeah, sure.
That's what we need to do as artists, is adapt to the flow so that we can kind of shape something with what's going on, rather than kind of, oh, but that thing over there, yeah, but that was that thing over there, now we need to get on this thing. We have to be on the wave that is happening. So yeah, I feel driven towards that, really.
That's true.
That's what I see. So that's what I support people to do. It's like, right.
No, you're absolutely right that there's this kind of necessity to be really aware of what's happening right now, and to be able to drop and change direction quickly. It being kind of open. Surfing is a great metaphor. We're really all having to surf right now.
Yeah.
There's no point trying to hold on to some bit of land, because it's going to shift. So get on your board and read the waves. It's that, isn't it? And see where they want to go.
And there's remembering that there are opportunities. I think that's the thing, again, where we can focus our energy, that there's always opportunities. It's about being open to them. So if we're still stuck in that old thing that we were doing a year ago, we're going to be stuck in that thing. We're not going to actually see anything new because our mindset and our energy is going to be in the old thing. So it's about getting up to date with, okay, that's gone. Let's let go of that. Let's see what's here now, and turning up again. I was saying, turning up to everything like it's a new day, new people, new day. Everything's new. How can I bring my energy? What's going on? You know, I almost think we've got to be like animals, that highly tuned in to what's going on in nature. What's going on? What do I hear? What do I sense? What's over there? What over there? Okay, there's people over here. Oh, there's, you know, just really highly in tune with the energy, with nature, with the rhythm, with the wave, whatever you want to call it. But really getting tuned in, and that's where the focus is.
Being present. Like, you know, in the very obvious way that all the kind of traditions talk about, just being here, like actually being here as much as possible now. There's nowhere else to be right now. So yeah, another practice to work on, I guess. How do I stay here in the moment? How do I keep coming back when I get distracted by the past, future, past, future, past, future? Yeah. This is the place to be.
This is the hottest place to be. It really is, isn't it? Wow. Woo.
Yeah, it's pretty wild right now. 2021.
I really love it as a number. I love it more than 2020. Just think 2020 with us. I think, you know what it is?
I saw a great cartoon.
Balance.
2020, and the zeros were toilet rolls. So 2 0 toilet roll, 2 0, and then it said 2021 underneath, and it was 2 0 toilet roll, and then 2, the middle of the toilet roll when it's run out, it was a 1. I thought it was brilliant.
That's quite funny.
Really funny. Yeah.
That bloody toilet roll chat. Hell, that got really boring really quickly for me. But that's funny. I also think it's the balance of the masculine and the feminine. 2021, the 1 of the masculine and the 0 of the feminine. Maybe this is the balance that we're coming into.
Yeah.
Seeing it. I foresee it.
Here it is. Yes. Maybe at the end. I think we've still got to go through something first. That's what I feel. It's building.
Yeah, we're in it. We're just getting prepared, like prepped for the last year. Like, here, just do the sous chefing, and then we'll get to the main.
Here's the main
event.
Or act.
Oh, that's made me hungry.
Let's see. It's Act 2, and it does feel like Act 2 now. We're in the next part.
Yeah.
Well, think about the last 4 or 5 years. It's what a ride it's been. We've been really ramping up to this. We've built it. I think we've been building, or at least anyone who's been kind of noticing this going on has been building up quite a sort of tolerance or a sort of strength of some kind by all the trials of recent years. It is like it's preparing us. That's a good word. Almost like preparing for a jump into hyperspace or something, which is maybe what it will be, like a completely radical alteration of reality for us. Maybe.
I think we should all invest in a curtain so that we can dramatically throw back the curtain. And it's like, that's gone, and then the next stage, and then that's gone, and the next stage. I like that
Perhaps
idea.
one of those ones, a sort of hospital one on wheels that you can trundle around with you, and then with your drip, with whatever your preferred sedative is attached to it.
You really love that drip.
I do. I'm really big.
Talking about it a lot, I'm like,
the drip's quite good fun right now. It's coming up a lot.
Are you thinking you're wanting to be on one?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we are. Maybe that's the kind of, you hold that idea of a drip, something that's kind of helping you, that's just ticking over. Although it does have slightly negative connotations for me, I think. So maybe not. I'd rather get the resources within rather than from a bag on a stand from the NHS. Yeah. Well-meaning though it is, and they are. Yeah.
Oh, it could be the bag of life. Why does it have to be the bag of
Yeah.
NHS?
I think it's just a hovering bag of light.
The drip of life. Yeah, that would be quite a good little sketch there.
So that'll be your look tomorrow as you go out. You can have your curtain, wheel curtain.
And my slip where you see my bum out the back, you know.
The bag of life.
Hey, I'm my drip of life. And I haven't got anything else on because I don't need nothing.
Just the curtain swishing.
Yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Maybe we'll come back to doing, like more carnival street artistry. Like Punch and Judy, but not. Punch and Judy's horrible.
So not like Punch
loving, hug and
Judy. Yeah. Hug and Judy.
That's cute, isn't it?
That's the kind of sanitized, politically correct version of Punch and Judy. He's not just a red-nosed, drunken wife beater now. He's he's really
awful. That's fucking terrible. When I actually got old enough to understand what was going on, I was like,
yeah. But I wonder, like all those things, I'd be quite curious to sort of look into the origins of that, because also if you don't have the shadow things out front like that and they're not being expressed, you're not laughing, they're kind of, it's unhealthy. It's like the jester as well in old courts, where when you had monarchs with absolute power who could just decide that your life was ending today, there needed to be some mechanism whereby the person who is the king can be kind of kept in check, otherwise they become monstrous. And when you had court jesters, they were the only people who could make fun of the king. So they could actually say things that nobody else could say, but maybe were thinking, and they could say it in such a way that it was funny, but it sort of let everybody know that everybody knew what was going on, and it somehow diffuses and allows it's sort of it's like a lubricant, a social lubricant that allows the whole thing to operate smoothly without it building any tensions that explode. Or so in some way I think those kind of things maybe, I mean, I'm guessing with Punch and Judy, but there's something about that I think, we need to see and have those kind of extremes. A lot of that slapstick comedy is quite violent and people getting hurt, but it's funny because it's not you being hurt, right?
I never found that funny, Never. I was just like, it's fucking weird. Why are we all laughing at someone hurting themselves? I wasn't on board with that.
Or maybe you're more advanced than me.
I just was like, why is everyone so mean? I didn't come to this planet for everyone to be mean.
Yeah.
That's how I felt my whole life. Can't we just love each other? Can't we just hug? Can't it be Hug and Judy? Why the fuck does it have to be Punch and Judy?
Well, maybe it
We'll
will.
get through our stuff.
Well, better the punching's going on a little stage than somewhere else, I suppose.
Yeah. My ear just popped.
It's the altitude.
It's like going to a whole new place. When I said, can't we all just love each other? It's like, pop! Yes. Okay, good.
You're already there. You're in that place.
Yeah.
You're one of the first to break through the skin
Nice
into
in
a new
here.
dimension.
New baby. Hmm. Well, I'm cool with just leaving it and I'm in a new dimension. We were all in a new dimension.
That feels like full stop.
Love is the answer. Love is always the answer.
Okay.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. See you again soon. Well, next week, I guess. We might start doing this every week again.
Mm. Yes, we had a lovely holiday rest. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
And we just slept like squirrels.
Good to stop. Always good stuff in the winter. Like everything else that's living seems to do, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it makes sense for us to do a bit of the same.
So healthy.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.